This is the Titan Futures 1 point a day challenge. Earning your living executing trades from the comfort of your home seems a lot more cool than most 9 to 5 gigs. Trouble is, if you don't know what you're doing, you can wreck your portfolio. But with our trading instructors, BK, Soto, and Mitchell, you'll learn how to day trade the futures market. Streaming daily, 9 to 11 a.m. Free. This is a free trading education channel. The Titan Futures 1 point a day challenge, where everybody is welcome. Get in the chat, ask us questions, learn. And now your instructors. This is BK, Soto, and Mitchell.
Well, hey, good morning, everybody. It's Monday, 9/23. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Let me kind of cut that off there. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and looking forward to a good week ahead of us. Let me bring in Soto here, make sure he's there. Soto, you there?
I am. Good day. Good day. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How was the weekend? Good weekend?
Great weekend.
Awesome. I like to hear that. That's great. That's great. Well, cool. Well, let me kind of get the stuff out of the way, all the legal stuff out of the way, and then we can kind of get into some charts and some chat. So the legal screen, what you see on your screen right here is the legal disclaimers. Just to let you know, everything here, we do for educational purposes only. So any trades that you take or any trades that you see us take here is not a recommendation in any way, shape, or form. Everything here is, again, for educational purposes. So if you decide to take your trade on your own, that is completely your decision 100%, okay? So just kind of getting the legal disclaimers out of the way there. Like I said, you can take the time to read that and look at the below the video. There's legal disclaimers and the full legal disclaimer disclosure, so you can read those. But just want to get that out of the way early this morning. So, all right, with that being said, we kind of jump to a live chart here, but I also still need to kind of, since we're still a new channel, kind of excuse me, kind of go through the channel description just a little bit, not a lot, but you guys, like I said, can read most of that on your own. But we kind of just want to run through that as we're still a new channel here. We're still kind of learning our way through this whole process ourselves. But below the description, you can see below the channel, you can see the description there. Or excuse me, below the video, you can see the description, and you kind of learn just a little bit about us. You see, we have the first thing you'll see there is a little bit about the Auto Trader program. You kind of take your time to learn about that if it sounds interesting to you. But we want this channel to be, it is a free educational trading channel. So it's going to show you the way we trade the S&P 500 market. We believe it to be very successful. Well, we know it's very successful, but we believe it to be probably the most basic, simple way to trade. And we encourage you guys to definitely take the time to learn that. And if you're brand new to trading, we want to make it very simple. You'll probably end up doing better quicker, just because you don't have to deprogram yourself from a lot of the mess that's out there. But if you've been trading for 20 years like I have, you can come back in. You might think it's too simplistic, but I think you'll just take the time. If you'll take the time to learn a little bit, I think you'll see that, hey, simplicity is better, right? So kind of take the time to learn, watch the channel a little bit, go to the videos that we have inside the channel, and you can kind of learn about the method that we do here. But we want this to be a very positive, respectful, stress-free kind of a trading environment. Okay, we want to be very encouraging to each other in the chat. No negative comments here. Okay, no dumb questions by any means. It doesn't matter if you're brand new, don't even know what futures are, don't know what a tick is. It doesn't matter how basic it is. Okay, we want to answer those questions. So please jump in the chat and ask all you can. And if you've been around trading for a while, maybe you're new to the method, or you're not. You might think it's too simplistic. We'll throw that in there and let's talk about it, because you'll find that the most successful traders in the world are very simplistic in how they do things. So take the time, again, to learn a little bit about it. But we want this to be a very positive experience for you, so we love the interaction. So take the time to do that, please. But just a little bit more about the channel there. We got 3 traders here. BK, myself, Brian. I've been trading for 20 years. And we got Soto and Mitchell. They're new guys here. They're new kind of to the trading world, but done extremely well with our method in their accounts. So they kind of deemed that earned that credentials, as you could say, of instructor of the method. So we bring them on to kind of give you that little different look and different perspective from a new trader standpoint. But again, just want to tell you thank you for taking the time to check us out. I hope you enjoy your time here, or if you've watched the videos as a recorded, I hope you like those. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to continue to kind of learn more and get an update when we're about to go live or post a video. But we're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 9 to 11 Eastern. We'll also be posting additional videos in the on the channel as far as education goes and methodologies and things like that. So please go ahead and subscribe if you don't mind. That'd be great. But other than that, a few rules: be positive, be respectful, encourage each other. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So just basic life principles, man. I mean, we're all in it together. So no foul language, man. If you're negative or start putting foul language in the comments, we're going to go ahead and dismiss you. We do not want that in the chat. Okay, so please, I'm gonna let you read the rest of it. There's a little bit more there, but we'll kind of get through all the disclaimers. We've already done the disclaimers, and like I said, you can have a link there in the description to kind of read the full disclaimers. But all right, with all that out of the way, we can kind of get into
longest intro ever.
I know it. It's got to be done, man. You're gonna have to start doing it. You're gonna have to start doing it.
But seriously, even the lawyers are thinking like, okay, buddy, let's take it easy. That's kidding. Just kidding, buddy.
Well, then I'm doing my job.
You are.
If that's the case.
I'm joking, buddy.
No, you're good. You're good. Paul, good morning. See you jumping in on the chat there. Glad to see you here. You're a staple here every morning, and I sure appreciate that. And I hope you've learned a little bit, and I think you have from what we've talked about. And I think you're doing pretty well in your account as well. So, but thanks for being here. We enjoy your presence. So, all right, man. All right. Well, we got all that out of the way, so we can kind of start talking a little bit here.
All right. Can I? All right. So I'm in a trade still.
Are you a trade?
Yeah, well,
all right, good.
I didn't want to interrupt the 10-hour session over here. So
that's all right. Well, that's great. Let's mark it up because my chart's clear. So you tell me where those are at, so I can mark it up.
Okay. So well, first, real quick, I entered at okay. I know I need to get better at this, but now I can't see it literally because the red light is over this slide. Okay. I think it's 2991.75.
You're going short then. Okay.
I went short. Yes. Okay. I went short. It took me in, and I got my point at 2970.75, and then I'm trailing on 2 points right now. Now here's my debate. I think we talked about this. It's early in the morning. I don't know how much more they're gonna go down. I like the resistance I'm seeing from the 810 candle. So hopefully maybe it won't go back up, and maybe we'll shoot down a little bit here.
Sure.
And I'm willing. It's early in the week, so I haven't made any points so far in the week. But I've already locked in my 2 other points. So at this point, I'm questioning: should I lock the points I got so far, or you think it's going to go down, or what do you think? Now I had a great week last week. So I'm still, I'm still good, right?
Yeah, you're still riding the high for last week, which is good. But this is, like you said, this is a brand new week, so we got to take it from here forward. But I like, you're speaking the right language, meaning it's prior to market open. So we're not going to see big runs prior to market open unless it's a news catalyst reason, and I don't think there's a news catalyst reason right now, especially on a Monday morning. So I think I would be very quick to lock in, but I do see how. The resistance right there is kind of helping you a little bit. So where have you locked in? Are you one tick? You made your point, but you locked in one tick?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so I would move my stop just to lock in a little bit more to be aggressive. I'd move my profit into at 3/4, 90 3/4. I'd put it one tick above that resistance there.
Okay.
That way you
I think that's right. I just moved it at 2990.5.
You're at 90.5?
Yeah, should I move it to 0.25?
Yeah, I would I'd move it. No, I wouldn't. No. I'd personally leave it at 90.75, one tick higher than what you have.
Oh,
That was-
0.75.
Yeah, that way you give the that resistance room to continue to work down. I mean, I know
Okay.
you're up 2 points right now in the trade.
Yeah.
And so I
Absolutely.
know that could definitely be something you want to consider early in the day.
Yep.
But I think it's going to go down a little bit more. Personally, I think
Good.
I think you're probably safe until about the 88 and a quarter,
Okay.
where that's previous support there.
Yep. I see it.
I think you're probably okay till you get. I think it's going to go there and probably bounce a little bit. So I mean, I'd probably, if you want to put in like kind of a quick profit target, maybe since it's early, I'd put it at 88 and a half. Maybe right one tick above that.
Okay.
But then I would
88.
trail 88 and a half.
Okay. I'll put move my green profit into there.
Yeah, I would just go ahead and get
Okay.
points early because you're not going to get a big runner. So there's no reason to have
Right.
a 50, 60 tick profit target, right?
Got it.
Because
You
we're
said
not going to get
88.25. Okay,
88,
got
no,
it.
88 and a half. 88 and a
Oh,
half.
sorry.
Yeah, because
Yep, got it there.
yeah, one tick, and we're going to front run that support zone there at 88 and a quarter.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Okay. So I'm there. I got 3 points in.
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to lock this in.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
out.
You're going to
I
lock
locked
it?
it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
I got
That's
it.
fine. Yeah. Good job,
I-
man. That's 3
I
points.
feel like
right
it was
there.
going to, like you said, I think the chances of breaking it, I think was less. I think chances of bouncing off that was greater. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I
That-
locked,
go ahead.
I locked 3 points. Well, I think it said 3, but maybe it would have been 2.75.
Yeah.
So let me.
Yeah, it will. It'll be 2.75. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah. So you went ahead and got out at 88.75 then. Or 88 and a half.
I got out at tell you right now, 89 flat.
Got out 89 even. Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah, that's gonna be a good spot there then. Good job. So you got your 2.75 points this morning, right?
It should be. Let me double check that in the math here. Just want to be sure.
Yeah.
There's probably a better way of doing this, but this is the only way I know how.
Yeah, I'll show you a better way to do it. Yeah, but that's fine. You're good. Yeah. I'm sure that's where you got it. Yeah, look at that. It bounced right at the quarter. So your 88 and a half would have been good, man.
I know. I jumped the trigger, but like I
That's
said,
all right.
it's early in the morning, and
That's
I didn't. I was, I'd rather lock in those points early in the week, right? So yeah, you're right. I should
Good
just
job.
trust
No,
you.
you shouldn't have either. You did what you were supposed. You felt like you needed to do, and you did it.
Yeah.
So good job, man. That's the
Thank
key
you.
here. It's not about what I always do. It's what you
Yeah.
felt like you needed to do, and either way, man, you made 3 points or almost 3 points.
Yeah.
So
Now, okay, you gotta have to show me how to do it because I made. All right, so on 4 contracts. Okay, I got my account up to 4 contracts. I made 375.
okay, hold on just a second. So let's explain what 4 contracts, how you got your count up to 4 contracts. I want you to explain that and where you started and how you got up to 4 contracts, because they might be like, well, how does it? Well, what's that mean?
Okay,
So
yeah.
explain that real
So
quick.
I restarted my account for the morning trading for our trading that we've been doing here on this channel with $1,000.
Okay.
So
Which
I got
means
$1,000. So for every $1,000 we trade 1 contract to keep our risk between 2 to 5% risk, right, to return.
Okay.
And so, we started, I don't know, about a month ago, I guess, already, maybe less.
Yeah, this is day 22
you know.
of the actual trading channel, so you're less than a month in. Well, actually,
Okay.
for trading days, you're at a month because there's 20 trading days a month. So we're at day 22. So yeah, you're a month in. So good job.
Wow, okay. So as we've been building up, we had, out of, I think, let's say the 4 weeks, we've had a losing week, or I did. But besides that week, we've had profits. And so every time, and I kind of skipped the 3,000 mark, and I think it was from the run from Friday. It's I think I sent it to you. Friday I made 17 points, I think, and I think that's what took me. That's what took me from 2,000 to 4,000, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we're getting a point, locking them in, and then when we got to $2,000. We traded 2 contracts, and we did 1 trailing and 1 stop. So we guaranteed a 1 point, and then we locked in 1 tick and then trailed the other one. So 1 drive, sometimes I'll get multiple points. And then as the account grew, I grew my contract. So for every For every 1,000, I added a contract, so I'm at 49. Let me look. 49.60, and so I've been trading right now for contracts. That's I think including today's points, if I'm not mistaken. So, and so that's how we end up to 4 contracts, and hopefully soon here 5.
Good job. Yeah, nice. What he's done, just to recap there, we trade one contract for every $1,000. Okay. So, and somebody that's been around trading for a long time might say that's way too over leveraged. That's not enough money to trade. Well, I agree and disagree. Okay. It depends on completely how you trade. Okay. Well, here we keep a 1 point stop at all times. We don't overtrade. So with the $1,000 contract, we can trade and keep a 1 point stop and only lose $50 if we lose. So we're not going to blow up an account if you follow the rules here. So it really comes down to self-discipline. What you'll see us do here, as Soto mentioned, as we go to multiple contracts, because we've made $1,000 in our account, we've gone to 2,000. We'll put in a 2 contract trade, and we'll take the first point off at the first contract off at 1 point, so we guarantee to lock in our trade there, and then at that point, our second position moves to 1 tick in profit. Okay, so you'll see that's when you'll start seeing on the spreadsheet at the end of every session, when we record our live results, you'll start seeing these quarters, these 1.25s, 1.5, or 2.2s on the individual trading account. That will be because of the additional contracts. Are you in a trade here?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've got it marked up, so I figured you were going to be in it. So I think it's a good move. I'll see if I can get in it here.
Order pending.
It might still get me. I don't know. But I've got an order at 87 even.
80. Yep, me too. 87 flat, actually. Yeah.
All right. Well, that just put us in, so we'll see if it holds this position, and if it doesn't, it's going to push through maybe. But we'll see. Yeah, it might push through this position here, but we'll see.
Stop.
Yeah, maybe. Yep, sure.
That's all right. That's all right. So anyway,
I put it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I went to 87 flat based on the support. Support at 86.25.
Yeah.
To give us plenty of breathing room, and it obviously went past that. It went. We had a good room for error.
Yeah, absolutely, we did. Yeah, we definitely.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even look at my screen. Oh man. I probably wouldn't have traded there. I just looked down. I don't know if you have this. Do you have that zone between 84 and 81? 29.84 to 81.75.
Oh, down here at the bottom of this morning in the 5 o'clock time frame. No, I don't have it, but I see it now. Yeah, mark it up. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. My screen was too stretched out. I didn't see that down there.
Yeah.
But it's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, it's no worries. Yeah. So we'll let price stretch down to there if we want and look for another opportunity, but no big deal. So, but Soto started off this morning, got his 3 points or 2.5 or whatever it is. So. That'll be for the individual trader this morning that will mark up on the spreadsheet. So he's ahead of the game this morning, which is great. But you can see right there, if you're watching the video, you see we keep a 1 point stop no matter what. We do not move our stops ever. No matter if we're right here on an area where we got support and our stop's sitting right there, and we have a pretty good idea that because we put in a bad entry that our stop was going to be right at a support area where it was going to bounce. We don't make that a reason to move our stop. We just say, okay, we made a bad trade. We get out of it as quick as we can if we want to, or we just let it take out the stop, whatever it's going to do. So, because this method is all about entries, you might put in good entries and they just get run through, and that's okay. That's part of it. Not a big deal. We just want to make sure at all times we do not ever remove that stop. Okay, it's a 1 point stop because that's how you can trade $1,000 account here with a 1 point stop. Okay, so in the way we do that, if you have $1,000 account and you're just getting started, what we'll do here, you'll take one trade a day. Okay, so you're either going to win $50 or you're going to lose $50. That's the game. Okay, and what it is, you hone in and get really good at your entries. and you're going to find that you're going to end up winning more than you lose. So that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio works itself out, and you make money. I mean, as you can see, Soto's been doing this for a month now on the live channel here, and he's already up to 4 contracts. So that tells you right there is that he's over $4,000 in his account. So doing the same method here, guys. It's a 1-point stop always. You just get really good at your entries, and why you're gonna, then you justify why you would put an entry there, and if it's the right entry, and then you decide how conservative you want to be with that entry price or how aggressive you want to be. And that's where your personality will come in. So you can be more aggressive or a little more laid back and conservative. But as long as you keep that 1-point stop, it will work itself out in the long run. All right. So anyway, good job, man. You're up to 4 contracts. That's great. So I stay at 2 contracts for this channel. I will never increase my contracts for this account. I have a little bit different account, a little bit different situation on some of my other accounts, but I don't show those in the chat just for the fact that, or just in the channel, just for the fact that we want the people. We want this to. This is all about growing a small account. We're starting with $1,000. Okay, so if you can see, you'll see our spreadsheets grow. We'll keep those growing, and we'll adjust contracts for those accordingly. But you'll see those growing. But for right now, you'll see me on the main chart that's happening here. We'll stay at 2 contracts just because I want anybody coming in not to get overwhelmed when they see 100 contracts on there. They don't get scared and say, I don't have 100. I can't make that kind of money, because you start making, that's $5,000 a point. You start making that kind of money, and people start saying, well, I can't trade 1,000 contracts. And we don't want that to ever be an excuse, or we don't want that to ever be a reason not to try the method. So as far as my chart, you'll always see no more than 2 contracts. So that way we can just use, and the whole purpose of the 2 contracts, just so you can see the runner and what the potentials are there. But you'll always see my channel on my chart here will always be either 1 to 2 contracts, just for the fact that I want to keep it small so people can realize what they can do with a small account. Okay, but as Soto and Mitchell their accounts continue to grow, we'll kind of let them let them grow their contracts so you can see that. That way it's good for everybody on the channel to see both sides of it. Okay. Mitchell will not be here for the next week or 2. He got married this weekend, so he is in Thailand about now, I guess. Flying over, so he's in Thailand about now. So I hope, for his sake, he does not try to get on right away. Maybe towards the end of the week.
He's trying to jump in the car here, guys.
Yeah, we want him to wait, and it'd be best, in being married 20 years, it'd be best for him to understand that he needs to devote his time right now to his new wife. Yeah. So if he decides to get on towards the end of the week, that'll be okay for a few minutes. I'm sure his wife will be okay with that. But I really do expect him to try to do that, knowing Mitchell, because I think you could attest to this. When you just get started trading, you can get addicted to this, man. And this becomes, you want to do it all day, every day. You got to get depressed when the weekends come, because the markets are closed, and you never looked forward to a Monday as much as you do now. Can you agree to that, Soto?
You're 100%. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would say, when is Monday coming around, buddy? Saturday's the worst day, right? Because there's no hope on Saturday.
Right.
Now, Friday, you finish the week, you can trade, okay, good. Sunday, you can, maybe if you want to jump in late at night, you can jump in, which I did last night.
Yeah, good. So did the Auto Trader. So did you catch some move out of the Auto Trader?
I did not. I saw where it made the move.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out, and that's not for this channel's conversation, but
right.
I was trying to figure out how to predict the move and jump into the move. And unfortunately, I was not able to. So I was, just playing around with it, and I missed the ride. Went down.
Yeah.
And it was kind of my prediction was wrong. It went my way for a while.
Uh-huh.
I thought it really was actually going to go bull.
Yeah.
Based on Friday's reaction, I thought it was going to kind of climb its way back.
Right.
But I was obviously wrong. So yeah. But anyways, yeah.
The Auto Trader went short and made 7.5, and got ticked out, so it was good.
Good.
But yeah, going back to the conversation, yeah. So Sundays are kind of, hey, you can kind of get back into it a little bit, but you're just really gearing up for Monday, aren't you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's weekends, man. You're like, oh man, what's going on? We need to do this. Your friends are calling you. Hey man, you want to hang out? No man, I can't go hang out. Don't you see I'm a little depressed right now? I can't work today. So
yeah, that's kind of different than what most people are. Not most people in the country, which is sad. I really do hate to say this, but most people really are depressed about going to work on Monday mornings. They do not. Yeah. They're not excited about it. They don't want it, and I hate that. For most people. But
absolutely.
But
most people, there's Joel Osteen. He's a evangelist out of Houston. Wrote a book called Everyday Friday, and I guess the study has shown that people are the most happy on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that guy never worked at the clinic my friend and I worked at, because Friday was the worst day. Friday is like everybody decided, hey, we're going to go to the clinic on Friday.
Everybody's hurt or sick or needs something or what?
Yeah. So Fridays, so I've never had like a traditional like, oh yeah, man, Friday's great. No, Friday's horrible. So a lot of work on Fridays for some reason in the medical world. And then my best day was Thursday, because I was so excited for the weekend, but it wasn't here yet. So you have to it's not Christmas yet, but you know it's coming,
right.
And so you're always happy. But kind of Christmas Day is kind of sad. You're like, okay, you know what? This is the last day. So now tomorrow's like I have to wait a whole year. So yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So,
so that's good. Yeah, so that's one thing about it when you're new to trading like this, and you get this becomes very addicting, and you wanna do it every day, every waking minute. But so that's good that you have that kind of passion for it. Well, that's very good. But right now during Saturdays right now are okay because of college football, right? So it's easier to pass, but when you kind of get into basketball season and baseball season, it's kind of like, which I'm a baseball guy, but I'm at tournaments usually on Saturdays anyway with my kids. But as far as an individual just wanting that loves the trade, Saturdays could be very boring when it's not football season. At least that's how I look at it. But but anyway, that was funny. Just kind of expand on that a little bit in the conversation there. But so let's talk about this real quick. We got a trade possibly setting up. Are you looking at that area?
Yeah, I'm trying to in my head calculate the probability of this trade. Just we didn't see a strong push up break in the previous swing high real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We got volume decreasing. I'm just kind of trying to calculate it real quick, whether I'm going to take it or not. And see what time it is. And it's right prior to market open.
Yeah, that's the kicker. We're right in front of market open.
Which, by the way, I get credit for acknowledging, because I never acknowledge what time it is.
Good job. I'll give you credit for that.
So, hey, what's going on? You guys want to hang out? I'm getting married in an hour. Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, so my timing's always been not the best.
Not the best.
So what do you think, Goose?
Yeah, I mean, I like the area still. I'm going to kind of watch it here. I've got an order sitting, ready to move it, though. I got an order at 83 3/4. So I'm going to watch it. Just maybe we get an open bounce here, but I'm just going to watch price action for a minute. But I've got my finger quick on it to kill it, So I'm going to watch it here. See if we could dive down in there, pick us up, and take off. But like I said, it's kind of one of those trades right here. I normally don't do this, so with that being said, in this price action on this candle, I'm going to go ahead and kill that order there. This is getting some rejection wick pretty good right here at this candle. So we got 45 seconds to open. So I'm not going to... I'm not going to go after this trade right here. I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let the market do what it's going to do. And then we'll kind of go from there. So we'll kind of wait through market open, let it kind of get past its first 5 minutes or so, because you get a lot of action at that point. So we'll hold off for a second. Paul says, what about 29.82.75? Um, yeah, I mean I think that's a great trade area right there, Paul. If you want to test the market open, I think that's a very conservative spot there, and price could very easily get there and bounce off the bottom of that zone there. So I like the conservative price. I will say that. Um, I think it really just comes down to kind of the reaction right here with the open happening right now. So we'll kind of watch it. But I like the rejection that's going on right this second here. But so I'm not opposed to that price right now, right here at market open. It's much more conservative. So if it's going to be a trade, that's the right place to be with.
Where's he at?
He's at 29.8275, which is the bottom of that zone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's down there at the bottom waiting, price waiting.
That's where I have mine at.
Yeah, so that's a good spot to be with the market open. So we'll just kind of watch it and see. So hang in there and just like keep your finger on the trigger there. So as price decide, if price wants to get down there, you can kind of really watch that volume and study it and study the price action of the candle and kill it if you have to. But we'll just kind of watch it at this point.
I'll keep going up to that area up there.
Yeah, I mean, we got do you have a zone here at 910?
Let me look at your chart here. 910. 110. Where's 910? No, I did not. I was still using the my 405.
You're using 405.
Yeah, so it kind of overlaps with 910.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
that's the one I based my first trade in the morning.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we got to. So I think it's going to go. Price is going to go down here. With that bullish engulfing candle that's happening right now. Well, it was bullish. It was bearish. I mean, it's turned bull here, so we'll kind of watch it. So if it goes bullish here, if it ends up closing bullish, we've got 3 minutes left in the candle, so a lot can happen. But this is that market open push that you're going to get. So we just have to kind of be patient and watch that for a second. I'd really like it to, personally, I'd really like it to break outside of this big zone right here. I'm going to draw up on the chart. I like it to get, I mean, it's all sideways action at this point, so I'd like it to kind of get through all that sideways action one way or the other, personally, before I take another trade. But I draw up zones still just to draw them up so that everybody can kind of see them on the chat. But my thought process is I want to see it break through and break out of this sideways action and give some confirmation that it's going to continue to go one way or the other, before I'm going to get into a trade. Even though it's respecting our zones, nicely, in some of these areas, it's still all sideways action, so there's no reason to be chopped around if you can avoid it. So let's go.
It went down to it looks like it went down to our zone.
Yeah, it did. It went down. It's been bouncing out of there.
Good bounce, yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I took my trade off, by the way.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, good.
I'm just going to let it ride for now.
Right. That's good. Well, the thing about sideways markets, guys, if you're a sideways trader or a breakout trader, you tend to take entries to the short side from the top of the box that's been drawn, and you take long trades at the bottom of the box that's been drawn. So if you're a sideways trader, you've had two good opportunities to trade right here. It's just in my 20 years of trading, I just felt that it's not the best locations to do that, because it could happen, especially around the open. It could tend to take you out pretty quick, at times. So I'd rather just not take the chance, because if you have patience, once market direction gets moving, you're going to have opportunities to trade. So no reason to try to rush trades. Market's going to give you plenty of opportunities. So if this is not your main skill of trading sideways markets, then I would wait for it to break out of that sideways market and give you an opportunity after that. And that's just where my comfort zone's at, because usually when you break out of sideways markets, okay, you usually get a direction one way or the other pretty strong. So I'd rather wait and kind of jump on that at that point. So even though, like I said, if you're watching my chart, I do draw up the zones for you, so you can kind of at least see where our method says as a zone should be out of support and resistance, which which is always neat to see, is that they respect those zones, when we draw them up. So we know when support and resistance is going to take place, and which is good, which is neat. But in this situation right here, it's a sideways market, and don't want to get involved in that. We took a trade early, kind of right in the middle of the sideways market, and we got taken out pretty fast for a 1-point stop. So it's just a good example why we don't trade in it. So, but if you were to trade in this kind of go, if you wanted to learn how to do that, it's always at the extremes of the boxes that you'll trade. So in the sideways action, it's always at the extremes of those areas that you would look to make a trade. But again, that's just not my bread and butter, so I don't do it. But I do have the zones marked up. So if you're watching the channel, then you can kind of see what that sideways action looks like and what the zones are inside of that. But we'll wait for a break out of that zone to take some trades. Because it's going to give us opportunity, even on a Monday morning when it's slow, it's going to give us opportunity.
Yeah.
Thanks for that input. That's some good, strong input there.
Yeah, buddy. You're looking good. Well, you said everything right, so
Okay.
what can I possibly add to the conversation? Let's just be honest. So, at this
That's what
point,
I'm talking about, man. You can add a lot to the conversation, man.
Yeah.
You had all the comic relief for sure. You're a comic guy.
Yeah.
You make it light, because people just don't want to hear me babble. I mean, constantly. They'd rather hear people are funny. I'm not one of those guys.
See, I disagree. Well, I'm more like, I'd rather hear you. Like, I'd rather sit here and just listen to you all day and just take notes and learn. Like, don't waste my time. I just want to learn. Let's do this. Let's knock this out. So, if I'm here to learn, that's what I want to do.
Sure.
So, that's kind of my thing. But, yeah, you're right, though. There's some people that like a little mix,
Yeah, well, you need that little comic relief, man, and that's one thing I will probably start doing, actually, since you've mentioned that. When we do have a lot of dead time in between our trade areas, because what we do, we pick our areas of trade prior to price ever getting there. Okay,
right.
So that's the way we trade, supply and demand. So we wait for price to kind of, we've identified those zones, and then we wait for price, we draw those up, and we wait for price to get to those areas. Then we look to trade. So sometimes price can get really slow and kind of meander one way or the other, not really, and it might take 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes before price even gets to those areas, so we have to fill the time. One thing I will start doing is kind of teaching a little bit more, drawing more charts, drawing things on the chart, that way it's just not all conversation,
Yeah.
But I like the storytelling that you and Mitchell are good at storytelling, and y'all have a lot of stories, so it's good to hear the stories, and I like it because it just kind of makes me laugh and kind of breaks up the monotonous of it.
Right.
So I do like it for that point, but I will try to teach a little bit more too.
I will teach now. I am. Yeah, that trade right there didn't pick me up.
Where were you in at?
2990.75.
You're 90 and 3/4. All right, so let's put you. So it just bumped up against you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to debate now if I need to go higher or totally remove my trade here.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely a call. That's at the top of the zone. So I mean, if you're going to be that sideways trader, I mean, you definitely. I'd have more of a zone. I'll redraw this zone here where I would probably have it. I'd probably have I would have, if I was going to trade on the sideways market here, which I'm not, first off, but if I was, I would have more of a higher zone, starting at 91 even up to 91 and 3/4.
Yeah, my current zone runs from 92 flat to 90 flat. And then I have an inner zone within that, which is 91.5 to 90.5.
I got you. Okay.
And that's where I put my first trade in. My first trade came in at it came in at 90.75. And I was actually going in the same spot without even realizing it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, that's where I made my point. I'm looking at the blue arrow here. Sorry. No, blue means that's where I reached my target. No, my first trade was 91.75.
Yeah, I thought it was higher when you mentioned it earlier. I
Yeah,
thought
the
it was
pink.
right there
Sorry,
at the top.
I was confused. Yeah, the pink. Pink means entry, and blue means target reached.
On your chart, okay, that's how you have it
On mine,
written.
yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Which those are the default colors he gave me. I would have probably not put pink, a blue. So
Well, so you can change them to whatever you want, man.
yeah,
Put your own personality in. If those aren't your
Little-
kind of colors.
yeah, little orange and blue, buddy. Hey,
Oh,
speaking
wait a
of
minute, orange and
colors,
blue. What's wrong with you, man? That's Auburn
Gators.
colors. What are you doing?
No, whoa, the real orange and blue, okay? The Florida
Gator.
Gators.
Oh, Gator. Okay.
Yeah.
You might
Come
want
on,
to mention
buddy.
that, man. We're in Alabama, remember? So
That's
when
right,
people think
you're
orange
right,
and blue,
yeah.
they think of Auburn.
That's
Which is
right.
which
Really
is-
sad. Yeah. No, just kidding. Great team, great facilities, great people. So,
Yeah.
so right now I'm looking for really in a way nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
That's
know if I
it.
trade out of that zone again, just because I don't know if it's even capped up there or a cap, or if there's any money left over. So at this point, I think I'm just kind of willing to wait for a new zone to be created, or unless it breaks out of this area. I think I have a zone up north, but I think it's already been triggered, so I'm not going to use that. So I really don't have anything else. I got something all the way down there at 29.41 flat to 29.38.25.
Okay, hold on. You're getting way out of our area here, so let me scroll out and
Yeah.
see where you're
Well, I
talking
don't
about.
know if it's any good. I don't know where that came from. Let me see if I can find the originating.
Yeah, you're talking 20 points below here, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I think we're gonna have plenty of time if it gets down there.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time. Well, on the
See,
sideways
we say
action-
that now. It was like a flash. Boom.
Well, we don't want to be in that anyway if that happened. But you'll see, guys, on my chart. If you're looking at my chart, you're going to see we just have a sideways action box drawn here. We want to wait and get out of that. Let's kind of get through all that zone before we want to make a trade. At least I would suggest to do that because so we hit the high and the low of that zone one time each. It looks like. So I would just stay out of it until we create a whole new opportunity of trading intraday today.
Okay.
So,
So that zone that I have all the way down there is from September 4th at 20 flat at 20 o'clock. How do you say that? 20 hours? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, just
military.
2000, yeah.
Okay, wow. You have to be that guy correcting me on my fair.
You just asked me, man.
Yeah, but you're not really supposed to say anything.
Oh.
You're like, yeah, buddy. Hey, you got it, buddy.
Oh, okay. Good job, man. You got it. Good job, Soto. Let me pat you on the back.
Every military guy's like, really? You know this is 2000? No, I don't. You know why? Because I love my country. So I use American time, like 4 o'clock, 4
Okay.
p.m.
So what's
4 a.m.
So what's 2000 hours then?
Dude, I have no idea, man. I'm gonna have to like subtract 12. I don't know. I got see. That's too much work, right? Let's just be honest. You have to like divide, look at the sun, see the movement of the moon. I don't know. I'm American. I use American time. 4 p.m., 3 a.m., stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
So
want
I
to-
really don't know. Do you know what 2000
So you,
is?
well, yeah. What's 20? Well, make it easy. What's 2400 hours, man?
24. I mean, is that midnight?
That's midnight. So back up
Okay.
4. What's 4 minus midnight?
It's at 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock p.m.
Okay. See, I feel like now you're embarrassing me.
Yeah. I'm not embarrassing you, man.
Yeah, man. We're Silly 300. I don't know what that means. I guess we're just gonna die here. I have no idea what that means.
No, man. No.
I've met people that only talk military time,
Yeah.
and you're like, really, buddy? Take it easy, bud. And then you find out they're actually never been in the military, so you're like, okay, you should not be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem either way, man.
No, I know. I just my brain doesn't work like that. I don't work in time.
Well, in
okay?
med school and all that, when you guys were doing these 17, 18-hour shifts, y'all didn't talk military time at all?
I did not know.
No.
I'm sure maybe people did. I did not.
Okay, I guess you would know.
You know why? Because I love America.
Because you love America, so you use AM and PM, huh?
That's right.
Okay. Do you say CST, EST, PCT? Do you say all that in Mountain Time?
Whatever local time is. Whatever local time is.
Okay.
Which if it wasn't for my phone, I would never know. Right. Oh, good. Look at that. Look at that jump here. Are you watching this?
I am watching it. A little bit of breakout,
Yeah.
possibly.
So-
We're going to watch it. We need commitment here. This is where breakout traders could get in big trouble right here. Because
Yeah.
did you see what just happened right there? You
Yep,
saw
it gave a quick flash there. They take a couple of ticks outside the I guess the zone I had, which are cleaning up some money, sitting out there. So now they're going deep here. So I'm glad I didn't trade out of that area.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Again.
the breakout traders' nightmare, I mean, because the issue is, so from a breakout trader standpoint, you usually want to put your stops at the previous swing low, okay, when you enter a trade. So let's say this box right here we have drawn high at 92 flat, right? 92 evens where I got this sideways action drawn. Well, it just breaks out of that. And then, but the problem is you got to put your stop all the way down here at 83 and a quarter. I mean, that's a 10-point stop, man. I mean, so you need this price to really run 10 points just to kind of justify you being in this trade. And that's just not the way we trade here. So, but if you trade real tight as a breakout trade, if you have a real tight stop, like a 1-point stop or a 2-point stop as a breakout trader, you got ticked in and then taken out because it backed all the way back up into the zone before it went long here. So that's where from being a breakout trader, there's just a couple schools of thought there that you have to be very careful, because you either have to take a wide stop and hope price really runs long and to be aggressive on moving your stop into profit at that point, or you have to take a small stop and as a breakout trader and hope price has commitment to the long side when it breaks out, so it doesn't back into the trade and into the zone and take you out. So it's just something that there's people I know that are good at doing it, and it's just not my forte, and it's not something I've done very well at, successfully for very long. So but that's kind of what you see happen right here. Prices breaking out and then rejecting back in. So it's taking those close stops, it's getting people into the trade and then back it up and taking out stops is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the psychology of what's going on with the price action, why you're seeing that happen. So
that's what I meant to say. I used it in other terms, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. Now again, I guess I can't say much because I haven't really done too much of it. I've tried a little bit of it. Not a fan. I like what we do better. And again, I'm not talking bad about people that do that, especially successfully. That's great. But and maybe it's just I'm biased because this is the method I've learned and that I know and I've been really good at it and I enjoy it. Because even when I lose, I can really quickly diagnose the problem. Did the market just not do what I was expecting it to do? Or, was I in the wrong spot? Was I too out there, if you would? And you can quickly find out, kind of what was wrong and adjust it. If it was you, okay, you know what? I should have read that better. And if it was the market, okay, well, there's nothing you can do, and that's okay. So.
Very good. Very good. I like that. Yeah. Very good. But like you were alluding to, there's many ways to be successful in trading. There's many different methodologies that work, right? So it's just a matter of you mastering that methodology and sticking with it, and you can be successful in lots of different ways to trade. It just comes down to what suits your personality, what you enjoy doing, which is a big part of it, But
yeah, I think trading is very much like diets. There's so many diets out there, and believe it or not, a lot of them actually work, and they're great. The trick is just sticking to one and mastering it, right? So just be consistent and do it. And I think that's what trading is. You gotta, whatever strategy you have, and it's if it's a good one, stick to it and do it. And long term, you're gonna end up winning, right?
Right. Okay.
So that's it.
Yep.
That being said, I've been eating an apple every morning
Yes.
with oatmeal. Let me tell you something, man. Oatmeal's tough, bro.
It is very tough.
It's tough, man. It's like, but I know it's good for you, but man, it's tough.
Yeah, it's beat me. I don't even challenge it anymore.
It makes you question, like, how long do I really want to live, Yeah, it still sounds like 10, 8 years really that worth it to be eating oatmeal? So, yeah, things like that kind of comes to mind.
Oh, do you? Okay.
That's horrible. Yeah, just joking. I hope people don't joke.
Yeah, they are. That's one thing about you. You can joke. You're a good comic.
Thank you. Thank you.
People just have to know you.
Yeah, they do. I have, yeah.
You're a pretty sarcastic guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, gosh, too sarcastic. I need to be careful. This, one of my friends' cousin, she went to Sanford also. And unfortunately, the first time she met me was at midnight. I was wearing a toga because I was at a toga party, like every good American does. Toga parties. And I was running around campus giving out chocolate chip cookies, which, by the way, great thing to do. And so that was the first time we met. And now she didn't know who I was. I didn't know who she was. And then I met her at my friend's family reunion. He invited me, so I'm there, and this girl comes up to me and is like, I know you. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe we met. She's like, I know you. You're that guy that running around campus at midnight giving out chocolate chip cookies and a toga. And I'm like, yes, that was me. She's like, how are you working with my uncle? Yes, please don't tell him that. Because he's, which I don't think he cared, but it was funny. And she was like, so she kind of didn't like me right away. Then it was election year, and I was talking to a group of voters about a subject, and then I was talking to another group of voters about a different subject, so I had to change the talk. She heard it on both times, and she told my friend, she's like, Chris lies. And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, I heard him say one thing to one group of people and a different thing to a different group of people. And so my friend came up and was like, my friend's like, hey, Chris, I got to tell you this, buddy. I know what you were doing, and I have no problem with it. I'm just letting you know that what she said to me, I just want to give you a heads up. She's not a big fan. And I was like, I was talking to voters. You have to adjust your talk to whoever you're talking to, right? So it was not that I was lying. It was just, I'm not going to talk about, tax cuts to certain people that are more concerned about something else. Whatever they're more concerned about is what we want to talk about. So, anyways, so that was funny. Yeah. So some people may not like me, and that's okay. For those 2 people in the world.
There you go. Yeah. There's probably, 2 people, 3? Handful.
That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. Everybody loves me, but there's always that one person, right? Like they're just not like, he's okay. Either like everybody either loves me, or there's like 2 people that absolutely abhor me. Like I do not want to be around that guy. I'm like, okay. So, but they're typically female, and they're typically the most liberal, left-wing people in the world. So. I don't know why, because I'm pretty liberal in a way sometimes, except when it comes to healthcare, tax cuts, and success for the American people. So that's that. Pretty over.
Oh goodness, here we go.
There we go. Let's see. Do you think it's not ready to be flipped? I know that. Do you expect that? Are they just kind of picking up some money and they're going to go short here, or are they going to hopefully continue to climb?
No, I think they might continue to climb, but until they get them to kind of a rejection area around the 3,000 area, the 99 to 3,000, there's going to be some rejection there. So I think they're going to climb. It all depends on this candle right here, how it closes out. If it closes with not a big wick up top, I mean the zone could kind of be flipped, but I kind of want to wait till that happens, and you could possibly catch a little bounce to the long side up into that 3,000 area, the 99 to 3,000 area, so kind of watch that, because we're kind of busted out of here. We got to close above the box, we got to close above that, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I'd like it to give us a little. I'd like it to give us a good close out of it here, and then maybe a retrace briefly into that zone, that flipped zone, and then take a trade long. Is what I'm looking at. So that's kind of what's on the radar for me, and my thought process is going forward. What I'm looking for at this point. So.
Got that. Okay. I have. I'm using the. I'm looking for a potential. And it's still quite a bit away, but the 310 candle.
310.
I was debating. Sorry, 310. Yeah, this morning.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little high up there, but I was kind of like preparing the way.
Sure.
You learned the nickname "Jump the Baptist" from nothing. So.
No, you do not.
You do. Do you consider the 325 candle a hidden zone? It's not quite engulfed.
Yeah, it's not quite engulfed. I mean, it's kind of one of those. It's kind of on the cusp. I don't. Just because of the big move down, I would think you can get a lot of rejection right there. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't consider that a text box. I mean, a text. I mean, a perfect. A textbook. Hidden zone there, but I think you get rejection just because of that 320 candle, the way it moved out so hard. I think you're going to get some rejection right there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I got a potential trade sitting here at 92 even.
Okay, I'm at 91.5.
Okay, yeah, because I like either 92 even or 91 3/4 there. So. Either way, I think you're going to get a bounce out of that area. Just where you're going to get it could be anywhere in there, but I think you're going to get it right there out of that area.
I think I've noticed this about you or about how you train in this situation. When they come back into an area after it's been broken, if you would, you typically trade at the very top or bottom, closer to price. Is that the norm? Is that what you expect in this scenario?
Yeah, for me it is, just because I tend to see over long term, if it's a really good zone of resistance at one time, and it's going to usually bounce right away when it comes
like
back
we're seeing here.
So I mean, if hopefully it bounces, because I'm in this trade, so hopefully
me too. I'm in the trade.
So okay.
I am praying this thing bounces like a wildcat.
Well, we're 3 ticks in right now, so
we're 3 ticks in.
But there's a point,
But
but did you move your stop loss? I mean,
I did not. No.
Okay, that didn't take you a move yet. Okay. Because see, I set mine at my target's at 2 points, so I leave mine out there at 2 points. So I didn't know because it went 4 ticks in our favor. I didn't know if it moved you or not.
No.
That's all I was asking, if it moved you. So I'd like to see a quicker bounce out of this spot right here than I would expect it. I thought it would have bounced a little faster, but it's kind of taking its time. So we'll just watch it.
Because
you got in at 92 even?
92 flat.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so we'd like to see a little bit of move out of here, but could come deeper in our zone and kind of catch in the middle of that sideways action there from 7 o'clock to 7:35. It could come out. It could come out of that. So we'll see. If it comes out of there, it'd be good to bounce out of here. It looks kind of heavy, which I don't like. So I'd like to see some rejection on this candle pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Looks kind of heavy. Needs to bounce right here.
Yeah, I need to bounce off here.
So I don't like it right now.
Volume is looking good.
Yeah, volume's looking good. We just might be in this trade a little early, to be honest with you. So, but again, like I said, I don't move my stop, unless I have an opportunity to move it, and I don't right now. So,
all right.
It's either going to get me or, because it actually could come back to
filled.
It just took me out.
So
it could come back to this 99, 810, 90 and a half area and bounce,
Yeah.
So I'll look to go back in one more time here about 90,
Order
90
pending.
75. Because it's going to bounce, it's just a matter of catching it. I think I'll go back in at 90.75. There's some resistance there or some support there. So I kind of watch that and kind of go in back in again. But this would be um, my last shot I would take at this price here. But I would look, if I can get in at this level right here, I'd look for it to run all the way up to the 99 to 3,000.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if it goes in here, I think it will run up.
So we're just a little bit aggressive there on the entry. I was anyway.
Well, it went right to a tick, which when you said if it took me out, it did move my. I realized it moved my. I was trying to figure out what happened. It moved my I guess my second order into one ticket to profit.
Yeah.
And then took that out.
Right.
But so I guess I lost.
So you lost 3/4 of a
order.
point.
Yeah, I lost 3/4 of a point.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah.
So I'm back in at this trade right now at 90 and 3/4. So I'm back in this, and this will be my last shot at this trade. If it doesn't take off here, then I'll just leave it.
Be right back.
All right. All right, guys. If you're just kind of jumping on, you see me. I'm in on a trade right here. I'm just kind of taking a trade back into this sideways action to try to catch a long move here. Try to get a few points out of here. I've taken a couple losses today out of this sideways box here, so my entries haven't been the best. And
Stop
and you'll see right there, it got taken out again. So price is just kind of taking his time doing what it wants to do, and I'm just not in the right areas for this trade. So I see a lot of good opportunities to get into this trade long. I just don't want to keep chasing the trade. That's one thing you don't want to do is chase the trade. So we'll kind of keep watching it. So, let me see here. Alan Farr. The guy that just left, the voice is echoing badly. Oh, okay, Alan, thank you. So yeah, so Alan just jumped in the chat and said that you're echoing pretty badly there, Soto.
Okay.
Are you on your
on the phone?
On your microphone today?
I'm on the phone. I guess we could try to go back to the other one. I think it's also echoes on the other one. I may need to get a headset.
I wonder why it's echoing like that. I wonder if it's been doing that. Has it been doing that on the other trading, on the other live streams?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, yeah, we need to fix that if that's the case. We need to try to fix that because I'm sure that's annoying to hear if you're trying to watch and you get a lot of echoing. I'm sure that's very annoying. So Alan, thank you for that, for giving us that heads up, man. Sure do appreciate that. So we'll try to get that fixed. So, all right. So yeah, so we're getting some move back into the sideways box here, and I think we're going to get a good bounce long here. I think we're going long up to the 3,000 area at least before the 99 3,000 area before we get some rejection. But it's just a matter of finding our entry point. I got taken out for a loss there, so I'm not going to chase the trade, man. I'm going to follow my rules. I got to follow my rules here and make sure I don't try to chase and catch. So Alan says, "Are your speakers on, Soto? Do you have your speakers on your computer, man?" That might be causing the echo.
Okay, let me. They're on mute.
You sound better there from my standpoint, but I don't know. Alan, does he sound better now?
Yeah.
Keep speaking, Soto. See if he.
I've had my it's on mute. So I have nothing on the background. There's no noise in my background here. So I'm not sure what it could be. It could be that I'm just talking out of a speakerphone right now, my iPhone. So
yeah, I hear that your background's been muted out, so I hear that. But I think that's just on your on your. I don't know if that's your speakers, but we'll get that fixed. We'll need to work on that. That's the beautiful thing about getting. Yeah, you're still echoing. He says so. Yeah, so we got to fix that up. That's the beautiful thing about us not pushing this channel yet, because we're a brand new channel, so we're trying to figure out all these issues. Because there's 3 of us that talk here on the channel. Soto and Mitchell, they're 2 newer traders that have done extremely well with the method. They're made over 1,000% in their account trading this method, so they've kind of earned that opportunity. Over hundreds of trades they've done that, so they've kind of earned that opportunity to be instructors here. So, but yeah, so we're trying to figure this thing out. We're still new to this. I mean, we're not new to trading, obviously, but we're new to the whole live stream deal. So trying to work out all the technicals. So I sure appreciate you throwing your. No one said anything else about that lately, so I appreciate you letting us know that. So we'll try to get this fixed. Try to get this fixed here. All right, we're kind of back in the middle. Kind of back in the middle of the zone here, and I'm gonna draw some order flow volume in just in this zone to see how close we are on a VPOC here. So yeah, as you see the VPOC all the way down here at 86 and a half. I mean 86 even. So price actually could get back to this area, and we actually have a hidden zone there that we don't have marked up. So let me see. I might move this. Well, that zone is actually marked up right here already. That's bouncing out of. But we do have a hidden zone still right around the VPOC at 86 and even. Now, if it comes back to this VPOC here, I fully expect it to bounce long here. If we can get close to this VPOC, I would expect it to take out and fill some orders here and go to the long side, and that could be our big push long.
I just got in and out. I got in at 2987.25.
You got in at 87 and a quarter?
Yes.
All right.
And I got my point at 88 and a quarter.
Good job, man. Yeah. So you took our trade based on our zone at 855. You had an 855 zone there, John. That's where you took the trade from. Yeah, Alan. I'll break down here in just a second. I'll give you a kind of rundown real quick.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Sorry.
No, is that where you got in at based on that zone we had drawn?
I was using that, but I'm using also the 935 zone.
35, yeah. Well.
So and then that's that gives me the area. So now I have to bring it down, and so the 855 candle, and I'm actually also using the 540 candle, which is I believe a hidden zone, to give me a wider range to consider when making my decision.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, those are all good hidden zones there that you're seeing price respect out of. So that's good. That's right above a VPOC, kind of into a gap area on a valley of the profile there that you see on the chart. So that's a good job, a nice place to trade there. So you see a lot of valleys and gaps there, so that's good. But yeah, Alan, I'll go ahead and jump in with you real quick since Soto's already made another point. So he's taking a good trade here. I'm not going to chase the trade. I'll wait for it to come back down a little bit deeper if it wants to get me into a deeper zone here, but not going to chase the trade. But yeah, just a real quick breakdown, man. First of all, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. I know we're a new channel here, so I appreciate you finding us and checking us out, first off. So thank you for that. But yeah, what we do, we trade. We try to get 1 point a day, man. We just try to do a challenge of 1 point a day, which most people are saying. Most people, if you've been around trading for a long time or just new to it, either way, you'll probably say 1 point a day, man. That just doesn't. That's not even worth it, right? And but it is. That's one thing about the S&P 500 is 1 point a day will turn into a lot of money one day when you add contracts. But so we want to master. What we want to teach you is just this is a method first of all that I've been doing for the last 10 years. I've been trading for 20 years, but I've done this solely for the last 10 years and been very successful at doing it. And I learned it actually from one of the head traders, one of the 12 top traders from Morgan Stanley. So on an intraday basis, he taught me how to do this. So it was a very privileged conversation, and I was very lucky to be involved in that. So I learned that 10 years ago, and have done that since. This method can be worked on any market. First off, so If you like trading other futures markets or even stocks and bonds, it does not matter. You can trade this method on anything. But what we look for is to make 1 point a day in the S&P in 4 ticks. And what we look to do is we trade off supply and demand, which you're probably familiar with. And if you're not, that's okay. On our channel, we made 4 videos of kind of the methodology. We broke those down into what each thing we look at. We look at 4 things, price action, volume, and then supply and demand zones and support and resistance. Okay, so we look at basic stuff. We don't do indicators here, very many indicators. You've got volume. I've got a swing indicator that you can kind of see on my chart here, and that's just for visual purposes only. For support and resistance. But what we're looking to do is take trades. Hold on a second. This is right at the VPOC. It's going to bounce. I think I just missed the trade. But I'm going to put an order in right
order
tick above it to see if it can get me. But I might have missed that trade there on that VPOC, because I think if this does what I think it's going to do, we're going to push off. We're going to push from this point and just go long all the way, pretty good ways here. But so I put an order there, see if it can come back and get me, see if I've missed it, since we're just entering in this candle. But it's already showing good rejection off that VPOC. But anyway, yeah, so we do support and resistance, price action, volume, and supply and demand. Okay, those are the 4 basics. And we put all those together, okay, because what you're going to get around those basics are the market moves, right? So the market can only go up, down, or sideways. So what you're going to see when each of those things are happening, it's happening because of one of those 4 things or a confluence of all 4 of those things. So we want to look at making trades that are very high probability around those, and that's what we're doing. So we're looking to get into trades based on supply and demand, which is, again, if you go back to the channel, I just got taken out there. So yeah, we'll just kind of let that do what it's going to do. I'm done. I thought I was going to chase that, but I'm done for that. It's just going a little bit deeper. Anyway, all right. So yeah, supply and demand is the big thing here off of support and resistance. So if you know what supply and demand is, then you'll kind of understand what we're talking about there. But we look for these zones to take trades long and short. Okay, we use a 1 point stop first off. That's one thing we do here. We use a 1 point stop. Okay, so that might be a very tight stop for most people, and that's okay. But it's all about being right here. Your entries have to be good. And if you can master your entry, then you'll do very, very well trading our method. And that's what we want to teach you here, is to get good at our entries. You can see right now, price has not respected our entry areas for me anyway so far. So I've taken some losses, but it's Monday. It happens, man. The market's going to do what it normally will do, or and it's going to make a fool out of you sometimes. So that's part of it, man. You got to be willing to win and lose here. It's all about losing, and how little, how small can your losses be compared to your winners, and then how often can you win compared to losing. So your entries are very important. And that's what we teach. With a 1 point stop, they have to be very precise. So we try to break things down very basically with volume, support and resistance, supply and demand, and price action. So we really watch price action into these areas of supply and support and resistance, which we're in right now. We're kind of back into this sideways market that I've got drawn up. We're kind of back in there, and it's just kind of ticked me out a couple times. But Soto's been in at the right spots, and he's done well. I think Soto's made 3 or 4 points today, which is good. But what you'll see, if you're watching any videos, kind of what you'll see, well, he's in the trade right now, he said. Well, so you can still speak up, man. Just say it. You can go back to muting, but you can tell me if you're in a trade.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. I didn't want to, be annoying. Yes, I'm in the trade, but I don't know if it's going to reject to actually trail, so I only got a 1 point locked in. I'm 1 tick locked into the trade, and it's about to come and take me out.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Just fine. I'm trying to catch that run up north, so I'm willing to take just a point and a tick here at a time, so it just took me out.
Okay, that's good.
Good job. But I went in at 29.85.5.
85.5. All right. So you kind of went to the bottom of that.
Yeah, 85.5. Yeah. I went to. Well, I'm using my 935 candle, right? And I got in my first trade up there. Got my point, but it came back and took me out, so I only got a point and a tick. And then I went down to one tick above the 85.25, which is, you got a lot of opens and closes there, if you can see.
Yeah.
And so I went one tick above that, kind of jump ahead, and it took me in one tick of heat, and now it's kind of hanging out there right now.
Yeah. You actually have a good demand candle there too. Back at I just don't have it drawn up, but I'll draw it real quick. Back at 5:30, you got a pretty good candle there. That helps that, but a good demand zone. It's kind of a little hesitation before it broke with another inside candle, but anyway, that's a good area of strength for sure, buying opportunity. But yeah, Alan, real quick, kind of go back to you. Just the best thing to do probably is just kind of watch some of our videos on kind of the methods that we do. But again, it's if you're familiar with trading and you kind of understand kind of what we're doing there, supply and demand, support and resistance, price action with volume. So first off, it goes with price action, right? Which are the candles? We use candles. You can use insight. You can use bar candle. You can use whatever you want there. But we watch price action based on candles. Okay, we just use a 5-minute time frame. Very common time frame. You can even jump it down to ticks if you like to, or range bars, whatever you have. It's still, the method's still the same. It still works. That's one of the beautiful things about it. It doesn't matter what kind of time frame you use, from an hourly, a daily, a monthly, down to seconds, to a tick chart, to a range chart. The same method and setup still apply, which is what's cool. So it's a very universal method that can be used on any kind of market. Anything that has a chart, you can use it, which is kind of neat. So once you kind of learn the method, if you decide you want to kind of learn it for your own purposes, then you'll find that you'll be able to, which is kind of cool, you'll be able to use the same method and the same methodology all the way across any kind of a chart, which is cool. So but yeah, so if you'll just want to take some time and check out the videos on the chart, they're not long. I think the longest one's probably 20 minutes, and that's because I'm babbling, and I'll tend to do that and kind of speak over myself here, and so excuse me for that. I'm not a professional speaker by any means. I'm just a normal guy, but the videos aren't very long. I think that's the longest one, but it's just talking about price action. So we have price action, volume, support, resistance, and supply and demand. Those are the main 4 things we check out. We have order flow, which is our 5th element, but I haven't introduced that yet, just because that can get a lot more complicated. And kind of what I want people to understand, this is very basic, very simple, and it's about being patient, not taking 100 trades. You're not trying to jump on everything you see, because that's the fastest way to blowing up an account, right? So we want to just teach you to learn the basics first and just understand what moves the markets. Everything. Supply and demand is a big deal, man, all around the world as well as in the markets. So we want to jump on supply and demand zones that are confirmed and we know to be supply and demand zones because of money. And what's the transparent horizontal volume, or brief breakdown of your chart? Thank you. Okay, yeah. So what you've seen, I've drawn on the blue chart. I'll kind of pull that out of there because that's not. I do that when I see sideways markets. That's just a volume profile is what that is. Okay, so it's just showing you during this blue box area where all the price action is going on with all the sideways price action. That's just showing you the volume profile for that time period. Starting back here at 4:25 this morning, up into 9:35 this morning at open. It's just showing you the volume profile of that. And what you'll see right there in the middle, the big yellow line right here in the middle that you see, that's the VPOC, the volume point of control, and you'll see that's where price is bouncing off of right now. It kind of went out of our sideways action here. Let me just draw a line. So price went out of this area earlier, right at open, but now it's coming back into our area of our volume profile there. So it's coming right back into this area and it's bouncing right here. And I expect it, if it wants to have some volume, it's coming in. It's right around 10 o'clock time frame, 10:15, 10:20. So I imagine prices, the big boys are going to start taking it. And that's what I would assume to see right here. What I've just drawn out is we've come back to the volume profile. I'd imagine, but anybody can. I mean, I could be wrong, right? So nobody knows the market, but based on kind of what I think is going to happen is based on price action, what I see there, I think volume is going to take off to the long side. It kind of finish up here the rest of the day. But and that's kind of what the picture we're seeing. Price has come back into our volume, our VPOC, and it's showing some support there. So that's always a good sign when it shows that it's supporting that VPOC again. Money's going to be picked up there and go long potentially. That's kind of what the expectation is. But as far as the box, that's what that represents. Okay, it's just showing the sideways action with a volume profile inside of that sideways action to kind of give us an idea where all the money's sitting inside that sideways action. Okay, the other horizontal lines you see on the yellow kind of let me get rid of all these pink arrows real quick. What you'll see on these boxes here, these are just horizontal boxes that have been drawn. These are marking up supply and demand zones that we've identified throughout this sideways action. Okay, and they're drawn at different time frames off of different candles based on supply and demand. That's what those are, and you'll see how those have been respected. This first one here, let's just say at 9:05, this was Soto took his first trade this morning based on this box that was already drawn prior to price ever getting there, because we knew that was a good supply zone. Okay, so we knew price was going to reject out of there based on volume, based on supply and demand and support and resistance, and we knew price was going to reject out of there. So what that does, drawing those little horizontal boxes, what it does, all the way across, what it does, it gives us a defined area to trade. Okay, where we're willing to, if all of our criteria is met, we're willing to take a trade out of that area. And Soto actually got in right at the top there at 9 1/4 or 9 3/4, 91 3/4, and made us 3 points out of that. So it was a good trade. So that was drawn early. So that's one thing I want to make sure you understand. We draw these zones early, not after the fact. Okay, these are all drawn prior to, based on the laws of supply and demand and support and resistance. Okay, so that's what those zones are. So you'll see some supply zones which are to the downside. Okay, which you'll see right here at 9:05. That's what that was. It was actually drawn back off. The boxes were actually drawn back over here at 7:25. That's where I drew the candle there, was drawn off of that, 7:25 and 7:30. But those are areas we're going to see some resistance. And then the ones down here at the bottom, you'll see, let's say down here all the way at 9:35, that bottom wick low there, that was already previously drawn, and we expected a rejection out of there. That's a demand zone, and sure enough, we got a big move right out of there at market open. Okay, and then you'll see prices coming back in, had come back in right to this zone that was drawn just a few minutes ago, actually. So we drew that one just as it was happening. Based on a candle all the way back here at 5:30. Okay, so you're seeing that was a demand zone, which is price is jumping out of right now. So that's what those are. So that's a quick breakdown. Sorry if that's kind of confusing, but it's these yellow horizontal boxes you see are all supply and demand zones that are drawn on the chart where we expect price to move out of. Okay. And again, a recap: the big blue box you see is just encompassing sideways price action. And then what I've done is I've drawn a volume profile inside of that, just to kind of see where all the money's sitting inside of that sideways action. And then you can see the VPOC of that is sitting down here at 86 even, and we've got a nice rejection out of it.
Let me just jump in real quick to let you know that I'm in this trade, by the way. I've been riding it. I'm three something points in right now.
Oh, good. Yeah. So so it didn't come back and take your tick out.
It did not. So I'm still there.
That's
so
perfect.
Well,
I would hold this trade, man. It's going to get a little rejection right here. We know that to the downside, but I would hold your trade. I wouldn't at this point crowd it.
Okay.
Because I think we're gonna move long. Personally, but I mean that's up to you. Whatever you want to do there. But I know you're up pretty good this morning already, still, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So since you're up pretty strong, since you're up a lot of points, just try to catch that runner, man. You've already locked in a point and a tick, right?
Correct.
So you got a few points hanging. So you got a few contracts sitting at one tick of profit, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you're already up pretty good for the day. We'll get a live recount here at the end of our 11 o'clock hour, or towards our 11 o'clock hour. We always do an update of our spreadsheets. We keep it day-to-day wins or losses, we put them in there. So you'll see that in real time what we've done for the day, nothing being hidden here. But since you're already up for the day, Soto, man, I'd just kind of let that thing run. Give it a chance, give it time to breathe, and let that thing run. Because now's the time to try to catch a runner, right? Since you're already up 3, 4, 5 points, whatever you're up.
Right.
I'd let it just, you've already locked in a point and a tick on your other, so you can't lose, right? So
Correct.
At this point, knowing where we like that 3,000 mark area out of this zone, if we can get it, if it continues to hold, and I would just let it run personally if I were you. If I was in the trade, that's what I'd be doing, and especially since I'm up 3 or 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. Hopefully here it'll just reject here, hopefully sooner rather than later, and continue to go up. So hopefully it won't take me out. But yeah, I don't plan on moving it. Just I'm trying to catch that run.
Cool. And we knew, and that's what it said. We said that in real time. We knew it was going to bounce right there when you told me you were getting in that trade. We knew it was going to bounce right there at 91 and show some rejection, right? So with no reason to panic, right? Thinking, no, this thing's going to go down on us, because we knew it was going to reject a little bit right there because it's going into a previous area of supply. Okay? So we know that. This could definitely turn to be a area now of still supply. So it could be an area of rejection to go down for the long side. But we knew it was going to be a little bit of rejection. But because you're up, I think a good money management strategy here, instead of trying to take every tick you can get, I think you let it kind of run and let it play out its course. Whether it comes back down and gets you, okay, no big deal. But you gave it a chance to run, right? That's the big thing. Since you're already up 4 or 5 points, whatever you're up today, it's a good opportunity just to kind of let price go either long. I'll say this, and I'll probably speak out of both sides of my mouth here, but we're in a position right here, we're in the middle of this zone. Because of that rejection zone right there, the supply zone that we had, it broke above it, and then it came back through it. It could use it right now as a rejection to go short, where all the money goes short from here. We just don't know that, right? But it took a pretty good bounce out of that VPOC there when it came back in there, and that's kind of, we like that. But with volume, if volume continues to decrease, then we got to just be patient and see what happens. But so this is one of those areas you're in the trade, so just sit there and be patient, because this price could take off and go long like we originally thought, or it could use that area now as a resistance and go short. And either way, you've made your money, right? So, but I just like the idea of being up in the account, which is what we teach. Be up, get some cushion before you try hold on to trades, before you try to catch runners. Get some cushion. Take your points, and because all it takes is 1 point a day. And one day I'm going to show here in the near future what the spreadsheet that you built and what 1 point a day does. And let people understand 1 point a day turns into a big sum in a very short point of time. A very short period of time if you let it compound. And that's what we try to teach you here, is let this thing compound, man. Don't try to take money out of it. Put $1,000 in the account. That's all we require you. That's all we don't require you to do anything, first off. And we don't suggest you do anything. Let me make sure you read the disclaimers there, but this is for educational purposes, so please understand that. But what we do, the way our method is just start with $1,000, okay? That's what we do here. That's what you'll see. My account stays small because I want it to, at least this account for the trading channel. I have other accounts that are not small, but for the trading channel, I won't do more than 2 contracts, because I want people to understand with a small account, you can grow and let this thing compound, and it'll grow exponentially. You guys are already, you started with $1,000 account for this channel 22 days ago, and you're already up to 4 contracts, right? So
that's right.
Well, today, come tomorrow. At this point, you're gonna be at 5 contracts tomorrow. So that's one contract per $1,000. Okay, so that should tell you something right there. He's already up to 4 contracts now. His trades are all 4 contracts, and 22 days ago he started at 1 contract with $1,000. So doing just this method, okay? It works. You just have to be patient and let it compound, and you'll see in a very short period of time that it will exponentially grow and be a lot of money very quickly. And what I like to tell people is, you can't argue with math, right? We don't argue with math. Compounding interest is the most powerful thing in all of mathematics. And we don't argue the math. You can't argue the math. So as long as we show what we're doing day in and day out, and you seeing it, and we show the spreadsheet and as it compounds, you can't argue that. The only thing you can argue is, can you make a point a day? That's the only thing you can argue here. And I give you the argument that this thing moves on average for the S&P 500. The average move right now during certain seasons of time frame are anywhere from 20 points to 40 points, 60 points is your daily average. So if you tell me you can't get, if you tell me it's possible to make 4 ticks out of there, then I can show you the math that will say if you can make 4 ticks consistently, then this is what's going to happen. That's how your account's going to grow, and you can't argue the math of that. So
Yes.
it's all, the only thing you can argue is, can you make 4 ticks? And I think if you watch the channel and you kind of learn the method, you'll learn pretty quick that you can make 4 ticks pretty quick and easy. Our goal is to even make just 3 points a week. Not, it'd be great if you can make a point every day, but the reality is you're going to lose some days just because you make a bad entry or the market decides to do something different on you. And that's okay. That's part of it. That's the reason we use point stops. We don't dig ourselves in a hole that you can't get out of, right? So if you dig a hole that you can't get out of, man, you have to win a bunch of times to recover that one loss, and that's just not the way a successful and a professional trader trades. So it's how quick can you be wrong?
I gotta stop you here, buddy. I got 4.25 here. Just let you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, I figured. I mean, this is confirmation right now that price is going to run. So, how many contracts you got open right now? Just
2.
one, 2 contracts?
No, two.
You got 2 contracts open.
Yes.
So you closed out 2 with that 1
Correct.
point. Okay, good. So
Yeah,
I
I gotta at least get half of my money locked in.
That's good. That's perfect. So what I would do right now, I would take one of your other contracts that you got remaining. I would put the profit target on it right here at the high.
How do you do that?
Of 94.75. So I'd put in a sell order right there of 1 contract. Well, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you later. Don't worry about it. I'll show it to you.
I'm not gonna do it. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, since you don't know how to do it, so don't try to do stuff in the middle of a trade when you got profit. But I mean, normally what I would do, I would take another one off right here at 94 and 3/4 or 94.5 actually. I would take that off. That's the previous high that we're about to bust through, that swing high that we have a potential to go through. I would take that. I would take another contract off there, and then let my last one run all the way up to wherever you think it's going to go to, or just constantly trail it, one of the two,
Right.
But we'll talk about that off screen. I'll show you how to do that, and then we can show that for the viewers one day. But yeah, so you're catching a nice runner right out of our VPOC area we thought was going to come back and bounce from, which is doing, right? Volume's decreasing, even though we're going higher, the volume's decreasing a little bit, so that tells me we might have a little bounce again up hit this area at 94.5, which we kind of talked about and understand. But you're holding a nice position. So have you locked in anything yet? Because I know it's kind of a position you can't really lock in a whole lot. But are you locked in?
No, I haven't seen anywhere where I can lock it in.
Yeah, well, we don't have it anywhere you can lock it in right now.
Yeah.
Because we locked in at previous swing lows, so at pivot points to the upside, that's where we would lock in, and unfortunately you just can't lock in just yet. And I know that's going to be hard for people to understand, but you're on a runner. You're trying to catch this 10, 12-point runner right here because you're already up nicely for the day in the account. So this is where it comes. You got to learn to sit on your hands right here, right?
Yeah.
Because you're seeing those 4 points of profit. You're sitting there watching, and
right.
Each ticket goes against you. You're kind of your hands are starting to sweat a little bit, saying, "Man, really? I'm going to give up these 4 points." But you're already up 4, 5, 6 points, whatever it is. So just be patient, man, and hold on to it. And we'll watch price action. We want price to come back a little bit here because we want it to create a pivot candle to the long side, right? That way you can move. Look at it that way. That way you can move your stop. You're in further into profit. So we need this to reject a little bit here, and then we need it to have a candle that will open up and go back long. But we don't want it to come, for it to create a pivot candle, it's got to come a long way down here. So we really don't want this one to create the pivot candle, but if it does, it does, So where's your, just for purposes, where's your 1 tick at right now?
My profit stop?
Yeah, where are you at in profit right
now? It's 2988.25.
You're 88.25. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you got into 88, so you're 88.25. All right, good. Yeah, so
I was using, just for people to know, I was using our 8:45 candle
Mm-hmm.
for my trade.
All right, absolutely. 8:45. Let's go ahead. Okay, yeah, so you're using that little supply candle that's been reversed to a long candle. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I guess you
Okay.
can argue if that's, I don't know if it was good or not, but I took it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pivot to the dance. I mean, it's a supply. It's a push out of there,
Yeah,
It's a small one, but it's one, right? And
yeah,
what I like about it, it's right in the middle of all this volume profile, all this action. So
right.
you're right in the middle of the value area. So you're in a good position to be long. So the only thing I don't like, well, this is what I would like actually to see right here. This candle is forming right here at 1040.
Uh-huh.
I'd like it to come down a tick or two below the previous red candle at 1035.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like it to come down a tick or two below that and then go back long, because then that will become the pivot candle where you can take your 88.25 position. You'll be able to move it up and lock in almost a point there, on your trail. But we need that pivot candle to be created here. So,
Right.
and that's what we have to. That's where the hard part comes in. To make sure that, because right now, we'll have a pivot. If it does that, we're gonna have a pivot candle to the downside, right?
Yeah, yeah, we don't want
So,
that.
well, it's going to have to do that to create a pivot candle for us to the long side. So you're just kind of in
Right,
that, you're in the sideways action. We're unfortunately back in the middle of this, but
yeah,
you got into a great position, made some good points, and you're holding a position right now of two contracts to the long side. So we just need the price to play itself out. We have an idea what can happen, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's right. Nobody can forecast the market, right?
right,
100%. So we just have to be patient, let price action do what it's going to do. We're not getting a lot of volume either way, which is a good thing. So that there's some indecision through all this area right here. So we just need, we would like for our position, because you're in a trade, we would
hmm
like this to definitely get some legs to go long here and kind of continue to go where we think it might get up to in the 299 to 3000 area. So we just have
yeah,
to be patient and watch it. But
yeah.
good job. I'm probably talking too much at this point, but
No,
um,
no, I'm trying not to talk.
yeah, I appreciate it because I know Alan let us know you're echoing, which we're going to try to fix. Get that fixed. So again, Alan, I appreciate that, man. But anyway, so that's just a real quick kind of intra trade breakdown of kind of what we're looking at, Alan. Again, please check out the channel. Ask some more questions. Please ask every question you want to ask, and I'd love to try to explain it to you. But one thing you're going to find out, we're just very basic here, man. Simple is better. And I think if you're around very successful traders, or if you're a successful trader, I think you would agree simplicity is the name of the game here. We don't need 15 different indicators on the chart. I think that's just clutter, and that's just a crutch, and that causes you to lose more than you win. That's kind of our experience, and it's done us well. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Excuse me. So right now we're just kind of hanging out, waiting, watching. Soto's got a price in. He'll keep us up to date on what he's doing. But he got in at this area. I'll at least mark it up with a little line so we can know where you're at, and we can take this trade with you, kind of in spirit anyway, and kind of.
Yeah. So,
So
just to remind you, I'm at 80. My take stop is at 88 and a quarter.
yeah, so I just drew
My
that on
entry
the.
was at 88 flat.
Yeah, yeah. So you got in there, which is good. I'll draw another entry there where you got in. So that's where you got in. So I'll make this. Let's put this a little different color here. So yeah, we're just gonna mark up your trade and kind of watch it with you in spirit. So as you can, so if you're just now checking us out, the trade that Soto's in, he got in at 88 even, which is this green line that I'm drawing on the chart now, and then his stop at this point is at 88 and a quarter. So he's sitting at he already made 2 points because he had a tick profit, 1 point profit there, but he's got his second 2 positions in at 1 tick of profit. So he's sitting there with another half a point in profit. But we're going to sit there because See if we can catch a runner. That's the whole point. He's up pretty good for the day. How many points are you up so far, Soto? Do you mind telling us?
Yeah, sorry.
Which we'll end up. You'll see. Everybody will see this at the end of the when we do the spreadsheet around 11 o'clock, because we trade from here from 9 to 11 every morning. Sometimes we might run into about 11:15 or so, whatever, depending on what the market's doing or where we're at. If we're holding a trade, we'll kind of keep it open through the whole time there. But we'll update that for sure on the spreadsheet. But he's counting us up, kind of telling us where he's at for the day.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 4 net points per profit. So that's the easiest way I can say it.
Because you're at 4 points profit net right now.
Yes, correct.
Net commissions.
So
okay.
So yeah, that's not cutting commissions, and so yes.
Okay, that's good. So we'll keep that chart, and you're sitting. So you're in a no lose situation right now because you're sitting at plus 1 tick with 2 contracts. So that's good. So you're in a position we just have to be patient and wait and see if price can run for us here, and if it comes back up and if it comes back down and gets us, so be it. That's part of trading.
Right.
We're willing to try to risk, or we're willing to take a risk right here and try to catch a long run. Okay, of 10 to 12 points is what we'd like to have.
It looks like it's making that flag. Do you agree? Does that look like a flag to you?
Potentially, yeah. It's got to still do some more work to that. There's some more candles. Well, it's okay. This would be great right here if this thing could turn around and go back long right here.
Yeah.
But we want it to reject right here.
Yeah.
If this thing will continue to reject, then that could be our pivot that we need. We'll watch and see this. We'll let the candle. There's still 3 minutes in the candle, so there's a lot of a lot of things could happen. But yeah, I mean, it is starting to look like a flag a little bit. If the next few candles close within inside this area of this big one here, we'll definitely be creating a bull flag. I'll draw that out on the chart once we see the next candle or so. But yeah, so we'll just be patient.
All right. Can you see if it's still echoing? I'm trying something different here. See if that helps.
Yeah, Alan, let us know. Or Paul can let us know. Whoever that's on the chat
Paul.
can let us know. Because I can't hear you echoing at all. So,
okay. Right. And I think it's not the computer. I think it's just for some reason. I think when we're on Skype. Because when I made that video, it didn't echo, right? And I didn't do anything different.
Yeah.
So I think it's me and you being together on Skype or whatever program we're using.
Yeah, we're using the NDI because you would think after all the live stream that you could bring multiple people in without having problems, but it was a heck of a hard time just to find the ability to do it. What we've done, that's one thing is definitely missing out there is the ability to bring in multiple people on a live stream, voice wise. And the Skype NDI is what we're using for that, which is the only fix I've found to be able to do that. And but yeah, so if that's causing some echoing, then we'll need to try to find a way to fix that still too. So Alan, if you're still here, if you don't mind, when you hear him, next time you hear him, if he's still echoing, that'd be great to tell us.
Yeah, please let us know if I'm still with the echo.
I need to step away just for 1 second. I'll be back in just a minute.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Okay, I noticed you took some positions. Yeah. Hey, Alan. This is Soto. I just read your notice here. If you can let me know if I still echo. I'm trying different things. I may have to buy a headset, and maybe that will help reduce the echoing. So let me know if this is helping any. I tried something different. I will appreciate it. And when BK returns here in a minute, he will be able to answer your question. So thank you for asking. Okay, thank you, Alan. I will avoid to another level talking until we can get that fixed. I know it's annoying. So please stand by for BK. He'll be here in a minute or so.
All right, I'm back. Let me see here. Try to keep up. Alan asks, I noticed you took some long positions. Just wondering why you did not wait for the thick yellow line on the market profile. Just trying to wrap my head around your method. Sure. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. I was a little aggressive, just to be quite honest, on some positions, and I drew up the market profile a little late, to be honest with you. And that is my fault there. But yeah, that's the only reason. I took some trades off of some other supply and demand zones that we had that were good. They just kind of pushed through, and I was late to draw the profile on there to see where the VPOC was actually at. So that is actually an error I made. So yeah, you pointed that out nicely, but I was looking at different positions based off of that. So let me kind of show you there. I'll remove profile here for a second. So some of these trades I was taking were based off of these previous zones here that you can see that were drawn up, which were good zones. They gave good reaction out of those, gave good points out of those. I was in at the wrong time. Simple as that. My timing was off, and that's my issue there. That I was just over trading on a couple of those areas, and I should have drawn the zone in prior to taking a couple trades. Because they respected the zones early on, and I just did, but they never got to my areas of trading. So I kind of chased a couple of them, which is what we teach not to do, but I did anyway. And so that is definitely my issue to deal with. So I was just late to draw the VPOC. And had I drawn that early, you're 100% right. I would have waited at this point to be in the trade. I would have waited to be in this trade right here where this VPOC is at. So. That's why. That's all. Yep. Simple as that. You know, I just was a little over aggressive this morning. So Soto, did you get taken out right there?
I did. I was out.
Okay. So you got out. So there we go. So you got your 2 ticks anyway out of it. Sorry, man. I know you're hating that because.
No,
but you caught it.
I got a point and a tick out of it.
Okay, so you got a point and a tick. All right, that's good.
Yeah.
4 contracts. That's good. So.
Yep. On 4 contracts. So
you did good.
It's 2.5 points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
That's still great though, man. Right? 1 point.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You did great, but so you're killing it.
Absolutely.
But you know, Soto's not caught too many runners, so we're trying to get him a runner to catch. But he caught a good one on Friday, didn't you? You caught a pretty good.
Sure did.
Wow, how many points you end up getting out of that one?
Well, it was only 9, so
only 9. Only 9
points.
points.
Well, I was expecting potentially it had a really good potential for more. We just ran out of time.
Yeah.
I think I texted you. I don't mean like, oh man, only 9 points. Is that it just had the potential? It would have kept going at least another 5 or 7 points. But we just ran out of time, so I'm glad we got the 9 points, and it was good. Actually, it went up all the way to 11 points. But I came back down, and that's when it took me out on my pivot point that I had. So
that's still a good runner, though, from the 49 points. That's still good.
Yeah. So very, very good. So I'm happy overall.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, good. So, all right. So, all right. So, yeah. So, you had a good day so far. So, nice. I put you up 6 points or so for the day. So, that's good, man. You've been a little bit more patient than I have. I've been a little more aggressive this morning, and I know better on a Monday morning, but it got me anyway. But that's okay. No big deal. That's part of it, you know. And but nice job. You made 6 points today off the method. Waiting for a little bit more patience. A little more patient today, which is good. Usually it's the other way around. That's what's kind of funny. Usually you're more aggressive than I am.
That's right.
Yeah, but today I kind of was a little more aggressive on some points today. And
yeah.
I think that's because, You want me to be honest with you? I think because I had a big day. I mean, a big night last night on the Auto Trader. Making.
Okay.
And I just a little more aggressive. Because
Yeah.
I had a big night on the Auto Trader and
Right.
made 7.5 points with all the contracts I trade on that. It put me up nicely. So it's kind
Yeah.
of makes you
And
tend
I
to be a
think
little
that's
more
what.
aggressive, and that's kind of
Right.
something I have to control. To be quite honest, I have to control that for the fact that I'm keeping a very small account here on the day trading channel here, just with 2 contracts. So I have to remember that I'm need to be a little bit more not as aggressive. I've been doing this for so long, or I could tend to be more aggressive, and if it hits me for a couple points, not a big deal. But I got to try to remember that I'm doing this for the channel purposes and need to be as if I'm brand new at trading, and trade that way. And I just have to remember that. But that's all. But you did a great job today, man. Good job.
Thank you.
So we'll just kind of be patient here. We'll kind of got about 10 more minutes. We'll kind of run through here. But we'll just kind of hang out. But but the method is all about. I need to draw something on the chart here. But the method's all about 4 to 5 things we look at. First of all, it's price action, together with volume, together with support and resistance, together with supply and demand. Okay, those are the main 4 things that we look for to enter a trade. The 5th one is order flow, which I don't show on the chart just because it's pretty confusing for most people. I will introduce this into order flow in a couple of months because there's more to that. But I want people to kind of get the basics, the 4 basics first. So when I decide to make a video on order flow for the channel, that's when I'll introduce it into the chart on the for the channel to be watched. So just to break my thought, Alan says it looks like it's wedging. Yeah, it's creating a potential bull flag there. I'll draw that out for you for the channel so we can kind of see that. And I think you put this, you talked about this earlier as well. So we'll kind of look for this flag here that's potentially getting here. We'll kind of watch this here. Remove some stuff here, but I think that's kind of what it could potentially look like there. So we'll adjust it as price gives us the opportunity to adjust it, but I think that's where we're looking at potentially. So I gotta wait for another upside so I can connect it. But yeah, I think you're looking at a potential bull flag here. I mean, you could do that right there, but that's a little bit too steep for me. But we want to just kind of temporarily draw this. But that could be a potential bull flag. But hey, so this is what's funny, man. This is where your pivot point would have gone, right?
Yeah.
Right there at 86 and a quarter. Well, you were there actually.
Yeah.
Your 1 tick was 88 and a quarter, and that was actually where you should be putting in your raising your money into profit, but you were already there because you entered it at 88. But had you entered down, excuse me, had you entered down here at 86 on the profile at this point, you now could move your stop. If you're trying to catch a runner, you could actually move your stop into 88 and a quarter. That's how we would be playing this scenario out.
And I was down there, but I got my point, but I got ticked out. They came back and took me out. If you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. I was just saying. Yeah, I was agreeing with you at it. Okay. Well, look there. We got a rejection. That zone's still very strong up there. So we're breaking out here. We're breaking out of this little area right here. But you'll see there's a lot of support it has to get through. So right now we're just going sideways. Basically. Even though we're getting rejections out of these areas that we have drawn up, from some support we got supply and demand zones. It's kind of bouncing in between right here. So we just kind of have to wait and watch it to get out of this area. But but yeah, that's happening. It's wedging, as Alan recommended and pointed out. It's definitely wedging. So it's kind of breaking out of that little potential wedge right there. From a bull flag standpoint, it's breaking out, but to the downside. But we're just gonna have to watch it and see. You could actually draw a bigger wedge on here as well. And this actually might be what Alan was talking about now that I look at it. He could actually draw a bigger wedge here if you want to get a little more technical, from a technical analysis standpoint, you could draw a bigger wedge right there, and that might be what Alan was referring to. I'm gonna move this little bull flag here. See, this is why I don't care for sideways markets. You know, even though our best trade, our only trade, our best trade should have been back in after the market opened. It broke out. It came back all the way back into our VPOC, right, at 86. That would have been the most. If you were taking one trade out of the day, that would have been it right there, because it would have bounced very nicely. Would have never taken us out. It would have been. We would have gone 3 ticks into heat. We'd have taken 3 ticks of heat, and then it would have definitely got you 1 point with potential to get a nice little runner out of there. It ran up, 6 points, 6.5 points. So that would have been a nice trade there. As if you're trading one trade because you got $1,000 contract, you got $1,000 on your account, and you're taking one trade only, that would have been the ideal situation trade. But after you draw the volume profile, which I should have drawn earlier, but I just got busy doing other stuff. But anyway, so we got 5 more minutes or so to the live stream. So if I don't forget to say it, since we're not going to be in any trades here, we've already kind of made our trades. We're going to update the spreadsheet. So are you looking to get back into any kind of trade right here?
I'm looking right now. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't like the wick right there.
No, it's just we're sideways, and I'm looking good.
Yeah, so I think I just don't like the wick right there. I think we'll go down a little further.
I'm happy with my points today. I'm good.
Yeah. So what we could see right here potentially happen, if it breaks down through this wedge to the downside, as Alan pointed out with the wedging going on right here, if it breaks down below this and with some strength, it could break down through that VPOC, and then it could actually retrace back up into that VPOC for a short entry to the downside. But I think that's what potentially could happen if we go short here. That would be the trade I'd be looking for anyway. But it's 10:56, so we're not going to be around here for that to happen. We've already made our points for the day, or lost our points, whatever it is. Well, I'm not looking to make that trade. But if it breaks to the downside out of this wedge, then that's what I'd be looking for, is a breakdown, a good close out of the next candle or two, and then a retrace back up into the VPOC for a short entry to the downside. So that's the kind of the play I'd be looking at if it breaks to the downside here. But anyway, and if it breaks to the upside, if it goes and takes off to the upside, it'd be the same thing. I would look for it to break the previous high, and then look for that supply zone to turn into a demand zone. Flip it and turn it into a demand zone, and take a trade long around the 29 in this area somewhere. It would be probably about 91 3/4 area. That's where I would look to be long after it broke to the long side and retraced back in. That's kind of what I would be looking for. So at this point, with it wedging, as Alan pointed out, I would be looking for a breakout of that wedge and then a rejection back into that wedge to the downside, or a rejection back into that wedge to the long side. Okay. So all right, well, let's go ahead and update the spreadsheet, and then I'll probably be calling it a day here. And,
okay.
So let me go ahead and update the spreadsheet here for everybody to see it. So give me just a minute, and I'll pull it onto the screen here. All right, so everybody should be able to see that now. It's coming. Anyway, it's coming up anyway. If you can't see it yet, it'll be there in just 1 second. All right, should be able to see that now. So, all right, so here we go. So today is what's today? 9/23, 19. Your first point. We always take the first point out of the day. This is for the individual trader with a $1,000 account. Okay, we're taking 1 point with our first trades. 1 point are out. Right now we're still on one contract. So Soto got. What'd you get on that first contract trade, Soto?
That's the one that got my most ordered my point. I got a 3.75.
3.75. All right. 1 point there. No loss, obviously. So nice job there. So after that's your commission. After your net profit is $168 there. So this account as an individual trader, okay, in a month and a day now. Okay, this is day 22. So this is 22 days of trading. You started out with $1,000 account. You can see that one contract. You can see we have our losses and our wins in here. Okay, so we're not just putting wins in there. You're up to $1,687. So you're up $687.20 trading on one contract, letting that one contract run for a point. And as you can see these multiples here, he's put a trailing stop in there. So that's what he's done. He's put a point in there and let it run to one tick, and that's what he's done. Okay, so nice job there. Okay, good job. 687 there. Good job. So as an individual trader, you're up $687 in 22 days trading one contract, which is 68% on your $1,000 account, by the way. So that's a good job.
Good.
All right, so now let's do the team. We do a team here, which I'm going to bring down the team today. Mitchell's usually here, kind of doing it with us, but he's, like I say, y'all just joining. He's got married, so so that was great. So that's great. He just got married yesterday, so he's in Thailand. He probably just landed in Thailand for their honeymoon, so he'll be there for the week. From where's he at? He went to Bali, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Bali, yeah. So,
Yeah.
But he'll jump in and kind of chime in one morning or two from Bali there, because he loves to trade as well. So, congratulations to him. But okay, so here we are. So, one contract. You made how many points today total?
Okay, so
don't count your losses yet. Just your total. How many did you make total?
Okay, my net or how many trades?
Your total points. Because I'm gonna add your losses in, and the spreadsheet will calculate the net.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my net is 6. I netted 6 positive points.
Not net. How many did you make total? Don't count your losses.
Okay, let me put it this way. I made $1,200. So what is that? Oh, 4 contracts.
Well, dude, I got that, but okay, so.
See, I don't know.
All right, we'll just do 6 points. So we'll just do 6 points.
Yeah.
I lost, what did I do? 1, 2.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. How many points? I gotta see the screenshot.
Yeah, go ahead now.
So you gotta pay, number of contracts 4, number of points 1. Okay, yeah, so 1, I put 6, number of points lost. Yeah. Okay, so I see what I'm saying. Okay, no, so I made. Okay, so I see that. I made 9 points.
So say you got more than 6 points, you have 9 points. Okay.
Yeah, so it was 9 points.
So 9 points you netted, and you lost. How many points you lost?
I lost 3.
Lost 3 points. Okay, no, I lost 2, 4, 6. So we lost 8, thanks to me. So as a guy, even though you had a good day as a group, we lost $38 from commissions. We netted 1 point of profit, but we lost $38 in commission. So that's my bad. I was gunslinging a little bit today, so that's my fault. So I brought it down a little bit. So we have a net loss of $38.40 because of the commissions. So we paid $88 in commissions today. So, but still, even the same 22 days, we're up $3,112 as a team, which is good. So anyway, there you go, man. So good job today, Soto, man. Very good job on your as an individual, because we always take the individual trades from either Mitchell or Soto since they're brand new, and we want them to. Well, they're not brand new, I guess. You guys have been trading for a while, but for the channel, you guys are the newbies in the channel, so to speak, versus what I'm doing. So we try to keep the individual results, either their first trade, either Mitchell or Soto takes is the first trade based on our method. They win or lose, we take that that accounts for the individual results. Okay, so as you can see, they're doing very, very good, very, very well, doing very well, I should say. Okay, so that's our live recap. That's what we're doing. So we'll watch this as you become part of the channel, and hopefully, in a year or even 3 months to 6 months, you're going to see this thing start to grow exponentially, because we'll add multiple contracts here as we top $2,000. Once we go to $2,000, you'll see us start the contracts on the team would be, for them would be 2 contracts traded in here. And that's kind of how we'll put that. Okay, so you'll see that grow exponentially. So anyway, that's it for the spreadsheet. So that's done. All right. Oh, look at that. We're gonna get a breakout of this wedge. Looks like up to the top side that Alan pointed out, which is great.
Yeah.
So that's kind of coming to the end here. But Alan, thank you very much for joining us. We sure do appreciate that, man, and I appreciate you checking out the channel. And hopefully it could be something that you kind of learn the method and you kind of like it, hopefully, and kind of see there might be something to it for you. And then I'd love to have you join us more often, and we'll grow this channel slowly. Like I said, we don't try to push the channel by any means right now because of all the difficulties and issues we're trying to work out from a technical standpoint here. So I appreciate you hanging in there and kind of helping us out with that. So anyway, so we'll do appreciate it. I appreciate the comment there about the channel and being a positive comment. It's always important to have positive comments, so I really do appreciate that, man. We try to make it transparent here, and we really do look forward to growing the channel together. Okay, so we get ready for the outro here. I just got to try to get it fixed here, so give me just a second. Got to get the volume going up here so we can kind of get out of here. All right, so the guys, that's it. Soto, good job today, man.
Thank you.
Everybody on the live stream, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We sure do appreciate that, and check out the channel because you can see more videos, more live streams, past live streams, and listen to a little more of the conversation that's going on there, and also check out the videos on there discussing the method. So if you have any questions, please chime in again tomorrow at between 9 and 11, and we'll do this again and answer anything you might have. All right, guys. So Soto, we'll talk to you later, man. All right, here we go. All right.
Live stream. Remember, you've been listening and watching the Titan Futures 1 Point a Day Challenge. Live stream. Remember, we're live daily, 9 to 11, and BK, Soto, and Mitchell are here to help. The Titan Futures 1 Point a Day Challenge, where anyone can learn how to day trade the futures market. Till next time.